We are going to repair this driveway with some polymer modified structural concrete. It's good stuff, used it several places. So here's the deal. Water's run down this driveway. It's actually gone up that crack. We just did this the other day. And it gets trapped in through here and can't get out in the freeze and thaw of the winter time, and it's rotted that concrete completely out. So we've power washed this, and we're going to let it dry overnight and the morning sun hit it, and we're going to fix this. The one issue is the color's not going to match. So this is what one of the pieces looks like, and as you can tell, it's just rotted. It's just falling apart. And then when vehicles get on it, that was the corner. I mean, there's nothing you can do but replace it. But that's what the winter does if you don't keep your water out of it. But if someone could explain to me why they can build a bridge that's sitting in water and the concrete doesn't just disintegrate. How about dams? So here's the plan. I'm going to show you now because in the morning the sun's going to be right. So you get a piece of closed cell foam. The neat stuff about this expansion joint stuff, it's pre-cut. Once you put it in there and the concrete sets up, then you can peel this back out to put your seam sealer in it. Now on this side, I'm going to sort of make my own. I'm going to fold up some of this, tape it, cut it, and that's going to go in there like that after it gets cut. But the most important thing is I've got to be able to screed off the concrete and get it level, right? Without filling up this gap with concrete, because we want to put seam sealer. When these people put, without my permission, run for mayor and put a sign in my yard, this is what they either get repurposed for stuff like this, or they also make great targets. We are going to cut this out like this, and we're going to put our expansion, joint after it's cut, and then this is going to go like this, and that will allow, I can screed off the top of this and get it level. Just like that. Don't really care if it wears down. People drive over it. Won't hurt anything, but we'll get it cut out to where it's level here so that it can set back just a tad so we can put seam sealer in it, because this does not waterproof. Water's still going to be able to get down in there. See that? And that's what's happened. But that's how I'm going to screed off. That's how I'm going to screed off and not get concrete into that gap. Okay, the one on the right is my trapping trowel, what I use to set traps, and it's my favorite tool. See how it's got a really sharp 90-degree angle? It is great for digging and working that way, but it's covered in dirt, and I don't want to mix concrete with dirt all over, and I have to clean it. So I just ran to Harbor Freight and bought another one. But look, it has rounded edges. I don't want rounded edges. I want sharp 90-degree corners. This was like $12 at Harbor Freight, so I mean, otherwise I'd have to go to Lowe's. And of course, Harbor Freight, you get a cheap wooden handle, but the one at Lowe's is a nice plastic handle that is not going to swell up when you clean it and get it wet. But anyways, it is what it is. I don't know, just laziness. I don't want to clean this up. I just thought I'd run and get another one. But that's my trapping bucket. Okay guys, we got to figure a way of making our template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper and line it up there so we can at least get a... Okay, I don't know if that came out right or not. I think I might have... So what I did was I took a piece of paper to make a template and pushed it in here level with here to where I can screed, and I pushed that down and got us a good angle with that, and then I took and I cut the paper, and that's basically what I ended up with. It was not like that, but I made it a little oversized so then I can come back and trim it to make sure it's fitting. So then I transferred it to here. Cut this out. So that can lay in there real nice, but I don't know. I keep considering you, but on this one, because it's too low, we are definitely going to have to see, that'll give us a way. What I'm after here is a way to screed this without filling this gap up, so we can fill this with seam sealer. Makes sense? Okay, for this final edge right here, to get that smooth, we're just going to take us an old VCR plastic case and some tin snips. It needs to be something hard to where I can screed on. See, that worked perfect. All right. Cut us another little piece to give us a little bit of support. Now we gotta do something about that edge. Okay, we're going to keep hacking away till this fits in that groove. If it fits tight, it's wanting to do like this. We need it just to lay in there where it's not going to be wanting to bow out like that. And that's what's happening if I have to push it in there. So we either take a Sharpie and mark, but at this point we're using tin snips, cutting out any areas where it's touching there. We got the closed cell foam all the way down to the other, like so. So we can have a nice gap, or a nice, we don't want it too deep. We want that seam sealer just barely. Okay, after the concrete cures, we'll come back with a razor knife and we'll slice one layer of this off, so if it's sticking up above the concrete, then we'll fill the gap will be big enough. We'll just fill with seam sealer. See, we'll just cut that on the back side. Okay, it's all done, ready to pour, ready to fill up the hole. Now, this is a 20-pound container. It says mix by hand for a minimum of 3 minutes. Use 3 pints of clean water for each 20 pounds. There's 2 bags in here, so for 10 pounds, we're going to use 1.5 pints. Add the powder to the water and mix to a gel-like consistency. Use water sparingly. There are 2 bags inside the 20-pound bucket, so each bag is 10 pounds. So we're going to cut it with a razor knife and start adding water. Although the instruction says to add the powder to the water. You can always add more water, but you can't take it away if it's too little. Got it? The other major concern is it has a 15-minute work life before it kicks, and at that point, once it kicks, you're done. Okay, we have our measured water. That's how much this was to put. A little bit extra if we need extra. You're just going to cut open the bag. Don't breathe this stuff. Stay upwind. Well, that's what is the required amount. I'll tell you right now, that's not enough. I've added about 4 more ounces than what it tells you to add. It's still dry at the bottom. Remember, 15 minutes is all you got. You want to push it down really hard. You don't want any air pockets. Got a bunch of dry down in here, gosh darn it. I really hate doing that because I'm messing my finish up. That looks about good. A little bit more. The problem is it's setting up, and as it sets up, it's going to grab my trowel, see? It's already kicked. So at this point, we'll take up a brush. We have to do this before it sets up, or it's going to come up in globs. Now, what I'm planning on doing after this cures is I'm going to paint the concrete. There's no way I know to blend it any better. I mean, there's no way to make it the same color. It's just impossible. So be sure and wash your tools off with water before it sets up. Originally, I was just going to cut this and leave it in place, but look, I think I'm just going to pull it out. We'll let it finish setting up, and we'll just, especially this plastic right here, we'll just pull it out, and right there. Okay, we gave it 24 hours. Now we're going to put the seam sealer down. After we cut this out, notice the color change from here. This is still sort of green, but notice that it's been 24 hours. Okay, we want to put something down to keep from tearing my knuckles up. Okay, areas where I put that, use that VHS tape. You can just pull it right out. Concrete won't stick to it. Needle nose pliers here is your friend. You peel it back and just peel it right out. You want to get any of that loose debris. See, that'll give me a nice clean joint. There's a little bit more of a gap than what I want here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this. We don't want any voids. Voids will collect water. Water freezes, and that's part of the issue. Okay, backer rod comes in several different sizes. These are the two that I'm going to use most. So I will probably use just like that. You just take you an old paint stick, just like that. I'm real happy with that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now we got to put our seam sealer in. I do put on nitrile gloves for this. It tells you to, and if you ever get this stuff on your hands, you'll know why I'm putting on nitrile gloves, because it is not easy to get off. And at the last, if your solvents don't work, it says mechanically remove. Now in these wide gaps, if you've ever welded, that's sort of how you want to lay the bead down, back and forth, because you want to make sure you make good contact with the other side so it sticks, and just don't let it just flow. But this stuff is really good. It's self-leveling. But I won't bore you guys with watching me run a caulk gun. Well, there you go, guys. Task complete. We're going to let it cure out for, I don't know, a couple weeks probably. Pair the color, and then we're going to either have paint or dye or some kind of sealer or something to try and blend it in. I don't know how you can get new concrete to match old concrete. I just don't know how you can do it short of painting or dyeing. But it sure looks a lot better, and no one's going to twist their ankle there. But see how the